It's your boy Brian. Welcome to the Morning Wrestling News Podcast, Episode 1. Now, I'm joined by myself, but in the future, I'm going to be getting my boy, Manny involved, Notorious, Kingdom Goat. You know how it is. I'm going to get him involved in this going forward. But today, I'm going to be talking about the wrestling news and what's going on today in wrestling news. Now, first off, I don't know how many episodes I'm going to be doing. I'm going to try to do it on the days that wrestling is going on, so it makes sense. So that would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday, but I don't know if, if there's any interesting shows other than maybe TNA, and then Friday, specifically, because Friday has SmackDown. So, yeah, so just wanted to say what the plan is going. So yeah, we're going to try to do wrestling on days that are happening. We're going to do predictions. We're going to do story. We're going to talk about news. We're going to talk about literally anything. Thoughts about wrestling. Thoughts about feuds. Anything wrestling based is allowed in this podcast / show. And again, me and Manny are going to probably try to get it going. I'm actually going to talk to him about it today. I'm going to talk to him about it because I've been wanting to do this with him for a while, and we started doing it for a little bit, but we didn't really get going when he lost his console. And now that he has his console back, I want to start it up again. So I'm going to talk to him, I'm going to make a schedule, and we're going to see what days work, and we're going to do a wrestling podcast, and we're going to talk about the big moments, the reactions, the shows, and we'll break down everything. It's going to be a nice podcast. I'm really looking forward to it. But I'm going to go solo for the first episode, and then the next episode, when I get Manny, we'll do the first big episode with him, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on what his schedule holds. And I'll talk to him on the phone later today, and I'll chat with him about it. I'll even probably send him after this episode. I'll send him a message. But so, with that being said, let's talk about it. So we're going to start with wrestling news, and then we're going to talk about what's on tonight for wrestling fans and for fans like us. In wrestling news, part of Stardom. There are many stars of Stardom that are going to be leaving, actually, sooner than later, between the April and March line. So March 31st is the planned finish for some of these stars, and then some of the stars are going to stay a little longer for the Kurrigan Hall show, which is on April 12th, I think, or something like that. So yeah, definitely potentially a lot of potential there, and we'll see what happens. But I do actually want to say the stars, because I was actually reading into it last night, and I wanted to talk about it because it's a big deal. It's a lot of these Stardom stars that I've watched has been pretty crazy. And like I said, Stardom confirmed this, I think, like late at night on about a week ago from now. They revealed that like 5 of their stars are like going bye-bye. So I want to talk about each one and why this means a lot to the wrestling world and to, companies that can go get these women or, in the future. So here's what it is. So basically, there's this planned rumor. Obviously, you know about the departure of your Japan star or Japan person that watches Japan wrestling like me. I watch it very, very much. Other than guys like Okada and, guys like that leaving, there's the other side of Stardom where a lot of the women in that involved that are leaving because Roy Ogawa was fired due to just some unfortunate back and forth, some kind of like what kind of happened with Scott. We didn't know why Rosie was fired, because he's the creator of Stardom. You wouldn't want to do that. Or the one that saved TNA was Scott D'Amore, so losing him, has really brought a morale, you know what I mean? Same thing here with this one. With this one, yeah, Rosie Ogawa got fired by Stardom, and a lot of the women were not very happy. They were very kind of sad and just not really, unfortunately, just basically sad that their leader, their guy that they loved, Rosie, who, had people like Io Sky, who's in WWE right now tearing up, Kairi Sane, who's there as well, Asuka Kana, who was there, like women like that. So it was just interesting to see this all play out, So yeah, so basically, I'm gonna go over the names real quick, and if I get them wrong, I'm sorry. My Japanese is not very good. I'm an American person, so, and even I fuck up these names, even though I've learned a lot of them recently from just, in general, just kind of doing stuff. I'll just make sure my audio's good. So if I sound weird, I'm sorry. But yeah, so what was going on there. So here are the names that are potentially going to be leaving, basically going to be leaving Stardom and joining Rosie. And one of them is actually one of my favorites. It actually has a bigger story. We'll talk about that in a few. So here are the names. So we got Yuzuki, who is one of the youngest women to win the Cinderella. She's big. Utami Hadashida, who is Utami. She was the one who fought in GCW and went to places like DPW and other places. She's a really big name, and she's potentially going to be leaving the Stardom and going with Rosie, so that's going to be a huge loss. Mirai, another one who also very young, but also very, very talented. She's one that that people were really, really, really excited to see what she was going to do in Stardom, but now she's going with Rosie. So, Mai Sakari, that's another one one of the groups that was helping each other, another one. Gotta be leaving as well. And then obviously the main one, the one that everyone's talking about, is Julia. That's the one that everyone's talking about, because Julia's path is an interesting one, for sure. That's besides the point. There was one more name that also wanted to join Rosie, and that's the IWGP Women's Champion, Mayu Utami. However, her contract is not up until, I believe, like, somewhere in April to May. So she cannot leave with Rosie yet. But again, she could totally resign whenever. So we'll see what happens there with Mayu Utami, another big name that might join Rosie's already loaded women's 5 people that are going over to Rosie's company. Which we don't know what the name of it is. We don't know who's in it yet, except for these 5 that are rumored. And now, so it's going to be interesting. That's a lot of losses for Stardom, especially losing Julia. Which Julia, we thought she was going to be a Stardom for life, but once Rosie left, Julia feels like she wants to help Rosie start the new company, lead the new company. And then, this is why Julia is the most interesting. It's because Julia is rumored, and we don't know if it's going to happen yet. We just have to see the announcement when the company makes an announcement, but she's apparently going to help Rosie start his company for maybe a couple months, maybe 1 or 2 months, and she's rumored to fly down to America and go to WWE's Performance Center, NXT. This is huge if this is the case. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, it's just another Japan woman who, could be cool, but not really. Well, let me shut that down right now. Julia is not just another Japan star. She is the biggest Japan star with the women's division, like, right now. Everyone talks about Julia the most. When I look at the women's division in Stardom, everyone talks about Julia. They're like, yeah, Julia's the next one. And Julia's proven that. And Julia's already had some American dates in New Japan. I watched some of those pay-per-views where she defended her strong women's title before losing it to Stampede Vakir, which is from AAA and CMML. But yeah, like, she's amazing. So to hear that WWE might get her in NXT, it gets me excited because there's so many matchups you could do with Julia, not only in NXT but also on the main roster. Like, for Julia, she could fight, she could fight like a Sol Ruka or a Roxanne or a Lyra Valkyria and probably give you a serviceable or at least better match than most, because she's just really good in the ring. Now, I don't know what her name would be. I don't know if they keep Julia like kind of like they kept Jade Cargill, or I don't know. I don't know what the name change would be. But as long as it makes sense for Julia's character and what they want her to do, then I can live with a name change. Because I will say, they've gotten better with name changes over the year. When Vince was booking, the name changes were really bad. There were some bad ones. But in the Triple H era, the name changes have definitely been a lot better. They definitely have made more sense. And he's also been very open to letting them keep their own name or get their old name back. So that's one thing I can respect about Triple H and his team and what they're doing over there. Yes, I just wanted, that's the big story with Stardom. We will keep an eye out on you. We will update you what happens next, but that is what's happening right now as we speak. It's unfolding. There might even be more names that ask for out to join Rosie. We'll find out, but that's what we have right now. Next set of news. Free agent signings. Potentially for these names here that are departing from their company. So let's talk about TNA. Now, TNA has had a wild ride this year. Not only because they've had some really good shows, and I actually just ordered Rebellion a couple hours ago, because I think that show is going to be fantastic, but they've had to go through a big loss. They had to let Scott D'Amore, and we still don't really know why he was released, other than the rumor that he wanted to buy TNA for like $10 million. That's it. That's really about it. But we haven't heard anything other than the case of, maybe there's a big charge on him, maybe there's something serious, but we haven't heard from Scott, we haven't heard from any representatives. It must be kind of an NDA hush-hush. So maybe we'll never know why Scott got fired, or maybe in the future we find out why Scott got fired truly. So it's kind of just a big thing in the air. Until Scott says something, then we can't say much. But yes, Scott is basically a free agent out there. If he didn't do anything bad, of course. Any company could pick him up. WWE could pick him up as a producer. AEW pick him up as a potential producer. Maybe give him one of the brands to work with, because Scott D'Amore's such a brilliant mind. Especially with the women's division. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, nothing from Scott D'Amore as of yet. It is what it is. Next. Now on to the actual TNA news. So, it was rumored, I think, last week that the Motor City Machine Guns are set to have a farewell match in the 23 Arena for TNA tapings in early March, because they want to go potentially on a peer-to-peer appearance where they can go all over the world, and they can just go appearance. They don't have to be signed or obligated to a contract. Now, TNA, I think they said TNA did try to re-sign them and try to get them back. But again, the Motor City Machine Guns feel like they don't want to be on a full contract. They want to go peer-to-peer. And it seems like TNA's finally respected that response. And it seems like the Motor City Machine Guns last Saturday, as of Fightful saying, that was their farewell. They had a farewell match against the tag team champions, The System. They fell short. They had a thank you Motor City Machine Guns chance apparently, and they walked out. So that means Motor City Machine Guns are now officially free agents. Their contract has expired. But again, the thing with Motor City Machine Guns that I've seen recently that I think they're going to take advantage of more is the peer-to-peer appearance. And what is a peer-to-peer appearance? Well, it's basically any free agent that's not obviously signed to anywhere, right? Except for a few places that have a handshake agreement, like AEW and MLW, a couple other places, right? You're allowed to go to wherever company you want, sign off on a couple matches or a couple dates, and then move to the next city or move to the next place. You could go wherever you want. A peer-to-peer appearance. So, and that's what the Motor City Machine Guns have been wanting. Apparently for rumors, which I respect that, because I think they've done enough for TNA when they returned back in 2020 and signed with the company. I think they did a lot. They did a lot for that company. I think it was time for them to change. I think it was time for them to move on and get, basically not really signed to a full-time place unless they feel comfortable in the future. And the peer-to-peer appearance is the way to go, because they can go wherever they want. They can go wherever the hell they want, right? Keep their music, keep their branding, keep everything Motor City Machine Gun based. They can go wherever they want, together, as a tag team or singles. Single stuff. They can go together, right? But they can still wrestle how they want. They can wrestle how they can. They won't be restricted, and they can kind of just go wherever they want and go to places maybe they haven't been to under, the TNA signing, even though TNA was allowing them to do handshake agreements. Now they're really open to get bookings and just do whatever they want. So, if this is it for Motor City Machine Guns and TNA for now, thank you for your service. Thank you for giving us some awesome matches. Alex Shelley had one of my favorite TNA title reigns in a long time. And now it seems like the big boys like Moose and Alex Hammerstone and Josh are now going to hold that division down So, and then also for Saban, I'm gonna miss him too. He was one of my favorite X Division guys, who was still got it at this age. And like I said, they're not retiring or anything, but they're going on a peer-to-peer appearance. So you only see them on big match cards all over the world. You won't see them in one company. Which, I get it. I understand it. So thank you for your work. Thank you for your service. And thank you. Now, we're gonna get a little cheeky with this one. And again, I'm not trying to be weird or anything, but I gotta speak facts. So Killer Kelly, one of my favorite TNA knockouts before this news came out, I think a day or two ago from Sean Rossap of Fightful. I really like Killer Kelly. She's one of my favorites. She's really good in the ring. Her and Masha Slamovic, MK Ultra, has been one of my favorite women's tag titles reigns in a long time. And they just have it, They're cheeky, they're dangerous, they know how to hit, they're really hard hitting, and also low-key, Killer Kelly. But respectfully. She got a fatty on her. She got a booty on her. And she's hot as hell. She's a hot redhead, which is not. It's rare. It's rare you see a hot redhead, but again, Killer Kelly, she got that. She got that. So to hear that this news came out, makes me sad because I think they had so much potential with her in TNA and potentially winning a Knockouts championship, but she only won the tag team titles, and we can't really see where that goes. It does help one woman though. It helps both women, but it helps one woman specifically, and I'll talk about her in a little bit. But I'm gonna pull up the report here real quick, because I fight. By the way, best $5 in wrestling. Sean Ressa gives you the ins and outs if you want to learn that stuff, which I've had to adapt to, but it's definitely cool. So this is what it says. Fightful has confirmed with PW Insider reports that as of now, Killer Kelly is finishing up with the company as of TNA Sacrifice, which is the last pay-per-view. Fightful is tentatively scheduled an interview with Killer Kelly at the Square Circus Expo this week. So this week there's an expo that Miss Killer Kelly is going to be at, and Fightful's actually requested an interview with her to potentially talk about free agency and why she wants to leave TNA, or what's next for Killer Kelly. But to basically say to my big booty redhead, respectfully, no weird shit, respectfully, I wish them the best. I seriously do. I love Killer Kelly. I love the presentation she came back with in 2020 when she got signed. She was like this really sexy but creepy kind of woman that's like just ready to fuck shit up. And she had a chance at the TNA Knockouts Women's title but fell short. Then she finds Masha Slamovic, which I will talk about what her future holds in a second. And yeah, now Killer Kelly wants to test the market. Now, what places could take Killer Kelly? Well, she could go back to her roots and go back to WWE. Now, I don't know how WWE would book her, because again, her gimmick that she has right now is definitely a little not PG, because the way she, kind of looks and the way she dresses and the way she feels is definitely not PG. So I don't know if WWE might tweak her a little bit, maybe make her a little more dark, instead of doing maybe more sexy. It depends. It really depends on how WWE finds that line. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see with that. We'll see. Okay. So with that being said, in that case, right? In that case, that being said, I do believe, it is interesting to see how that kind of plays out. But that's a potential place. New Japan, which has their New Japan Women's Division, I could totally see Killer Kelly fitting just fine in that kind of division realm. I could see her fitting there with girls like Steffi Valander, if Willow goes back, or if Mercedes goes back to get her shot. I could see her in that division, totally. So that's another place. Technically another place is NWA, but I'm not going to speak on that because I think Killer Kelly is a bigger name for NWA, no diss, but that's just me being honest. And then MLW, could totally see Killer Kelly go to MLW. I think she's been in MLW before, So that'd be a nice little spot for MLW, especially since they're starting to build their group of guys as the old guard kind of lowers into the new kind of division with Alex Kane and the welterweight division with John Kong and with Selena De La Renta, that kind of new women's era, which seems like they're very proud of what she's doing. Could totally see Killer Kelly going there. And then finally AEW. Now, I will say, AEW is getting to that point where they don't really need any more women. I think AEW has finally gotten a stacked roster that is starting to come back from injuries and starting to finally thrive, especially since Mercedes just got there. You could tell the presentation has definitely risen up since she's been there. Her presence alone has helped get the women more on TV. Like, they had like 2 segments on AEW, so her effect in the company has worked. It's definitely worked. Her presence alone has worked. And I could totally see Killer Kelly being like, I want to be part of that. And be part of that revolution, which I could totally see. I could totally see Killer Kelly going and, bringing this same gimmick she does with the lighting and everything, and just start killing people, just start choking people out. Or joining maybe like the Blackpool Combat Club or something, because I feel like the Blackpool Combat Club, they're a great crew, but I feel like they need a woman. And I think Killer Kelly could fit that perfectly. So Killer Kelly and the Blackpool Combat Club could be kind of fire. But yeah, so those are some of the options Killer Kelly can do, or she can do kind of what the Motor City Machine Guns do, and do a peer-to-peer appearance, where she basically, is like, yeah, I'm going to go to different companies like GCW, her girl Masha Slamovic, which we'll talk about in a second, what this means for Masha, she's doing Bloodsport. She's going to do some Bloodsport and stuff like that, so definitely interesting in that case, and what happens now, So, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with her. I actually have some foods. Like, give me 1 second. I'm so sorry, there's a food thing going on. The dude missed my order, so I have to wait for him to come back. When I get that phone call, I'm gonna pick it up, so... But, okay, what the hell were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about TNA, so I actually just found out the Killer Kelly thing is actually... It's actually not... Well, okay, it is true, but it's actually... She's not leaving the company. She's taking a break. So, my bad on that, I had to look it up. But yeah, she is taking some time off. She's gonna take some time off and take a break. So, wishing her the best. Hopefully mentally and everything is fine. But basically I was gonna say for Masha Slamovic... now seeing that, it means she could go back singles for a little bit. They might have to drop the titles to them or whatever. So, you know, and stuff like that. So, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, so yeah, we'll see what happens. With Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovic. But yeah, Masha can go singles for a bit until, you know, Kelly returns, maybe reform MK, or even Kelly betrays Masha Slamovic and Masha Slamovic versus Killer Kelly once again, which was a great feud. So we'll see. But yeah, Killer Kelly's gonna take some time off after the taping, so wish her nothing but the best. Alright, that's enough wrestling news outside of the world of, you know, just, sorry, not like wrestling wise in that case. So, now on to, you know, the true wrestling stuff. What is going on tonight in wrestling? It's Monday Night Raw. The road to WrestleMania. And I had to fact check this today to make sure that my eyes do not deceive me. We are... I don't even know how many. Let me see. See what it tells me. So as of March 22nd, it was 15 days. So we're either 12 to 11 days away from WrestleMania. We are so close to WrestleMania. And Monday Night Raw will be held in Chicago. Now, I haven't told any of my viewers yet. I've only told my friends and my other foes. I'm going to Monday Night Raw next week in Brooklyn, New York, Barclays Center. I'm going there to go see The Rock. I'm going there to go see, you know, Roman, potentially, Cody, Seth, and I'm actually going with one of my good friends. I'm going with Tyrese, who you've seen on the channel when we do NBA stuff. Me and him had a good battle on NBA. I recorded it. It was me crossing him up with Luka Doncic. It was really great stuff. That guy. The guy you see on the other side. I'm going to WWE with him for the first time together. We've been to WWE events before. We went to SmackDown last year, or the year before, when Roman was in town, before SummerSlam. Right after Money in the Bank. We went. And he was in the top row. I was on the top row, the fancy top row. That's had food and drinks and everything like that. Super easy access. It was very weird, but also really cool, kind of relaxing spot. You have space to move. So, it's really good stuff. It's seriously some really, 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 really good stuff. And yeah, it's going to be something really interesting. So, yeah, but yeah, so we're really on the road to WrestleMania. We're literally so close. And Monday Night Raw is taking place from Chicago, Illinois. Now, what's going on first? Well, they added some matches, and here's what we know, okay? We know the voice of the voiceless, Chicago's own CM Punk, is supposed to be in attendance. He is going to, potentially take over basically go to Chicago and be like, hey, I want to do some wrestling, and yada yada yada. So, it's going to be interesting, okay? Again, I don't know what he's going to say. Again, I don't know what this means. But the only thing that I could see happening, in my opinion, is I could see him totally, announce, hey, I'm going to be the host for WrestleMania. So he doesn't have to do too much, but he could still, be in the presence of WWE. So you get those extra tickets like, yeah, Punk's going to be there. He's not going to fight, So, definitely going to be interesting to see what happens. And, yeah, it's just going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be different. I'm just really, really, really excited to see, what happens, In this case, right? Oh, that's the call. Excuse me. Hope he's still alive here. Sorry, that was some food. Finally got my food or whatever. I'm gonna eat in a few after this, but yeah, so Punk is apparently supposed to be there tonight. He's gonna be speaking on the mic. He's gonna have an open mic. Drew said he's gonna go see him, so I could totally see a segment between him and Drew to build up their feud in the future. Even though, Punk is hurt. He's still hurt and injured, so we'll see what happens there. Yeah, really looking forward to see what Mr. Punk has to say. We also have Jey Uso versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This is going to give momentum to Jey Uso, who's going to fight Jimmy Uso. No Yeet versus Yeet. Going to be interesting. Sami Zayn takes on Big Bronson Reed as Sami tries to get momentum to face Gunther at WrestleMania after winning the gauntlet, which Chad Gable does not believe he could beat Gunther, which, no diss to Sami, but I also agree with this. Ricochet is going to take on JD McDonough, and probably a cool showcase. Andrade makes his another return for another match. He's going to take on Ivar tonight. That's going to be a huge challenge for Andrade. And then Ivy now is going to take on Candice LeRae after what Candice LeRae's been doing recently with the women on the roster, especially Maxine Dupree. So, we'll see what happens there. Nothing has been added to the card yet, but this is what we have so far. There might be an extra match or two added, but that's what we have. No, good looking Raw. Excited to see what Punk has to say. I'm excited to see what Cody, after SmackDown, I'm assuming he's going to respond. I'm excited to see, what Seth, hopefully he's going to be there, what has to say, and then obviously Punk and Drew might have a face-to-face, even though Punk can't really do anything, can't get physical. So, yeah, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, really looking forward to Monday night. That's a preview for Monday Night Raw. Then we have Dynamite. Well, actually, we have NXT on Tuesday. NXT this week, as we get closer to Stand and Deliver, which looks really good, by the way. Um, Definitely something really interesting there. So this is what NXT has so far. So there's a segment between Ridge Holland after what happened with Shawn Spears. He will be explaining, what's next for him. Also in the cards, we got the Wolf Dogs and Otis and Akira Tozawa. If Alpha Academy wins, they are added to the tag team title match to make it a triple threat match. Carmelo Hayes versus Trick Williams Prime Target vignettes. That's also there. We're going to hear from Ridge Holland. Dragunov's going to take on Stacks of the Family. Shawn Spears takes on Dijak in an epic matchup. I'm actually looking forward to that. Josh Briggs is going to take on Duke Hudson of Chase U. And then Thea Hale is going to take on Jasmine Nix, who caused Chase U the loss in that match for the tag team titles with the Wolf Dogs. And the match that they had previously that they fell short because JC Jane turned on Chase U and turned on Thea, and Thea went back to Chase U colors. She's active as hell, she's rowdy, she's not this kind of trying to be like almost like a sex appeal where it's like low energy but still had the energy. Not that anymore. She's now back to heavy Chase U after JC Jane saved Chase U, but in the background what's kind of playing dark almost is she's been kind of, as in the words of JR, a Jezebel. So yeah, so definitely something interesting to see what happens. And yeah, so we'll see what happens there. That's NXT on Tuesday. Both good looking shows, by the way. I'm definitely gonna be watching Tuesday. Wednesday, Dynamite. AEW Dynamite, yes. I know, is AEW finally back to being good? Yeah, it's back to being good. Ever since they changed the colors, the branding, it's been a much, much needed fresh start for Dynamite. Like, they've really, really did a great job, basically these cards coming up. So here is the card, if I could find it. By the way, I recommend watching last week. Last week was a banger. Last week was the I Quit match card in Canada, and that card was brilliant. Some great matches, and then the I Quit match at the end with Mr. Adam Copeland. Congratulations, Adam Copeland, to winning the TNT Championship. Oh, brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So good. Very happy it happened. Good shit. Really good shit. And also, I don't think Dynamite was this week. I don't think. So, or no, sorry, Collision wasn't this week. So, I don't have any results on Collision. But, it is what it is. So, I'm looking here. They're going to Quebec, I believe, this seed. Yeah, right here. So, this is what we have so far. And they'll add matches as they go. But 3 banger matches that I'm very much looking forward to. Young Bucks and Private Party in the first round of the AEW World Tag Team Championship quarterfinals. That's going to be a banger. Konosuke Takeshita versus Swerve Strickland. Oh my god. Yes. 1,000 times yes. That match is going to slap. And then Will Ospreay versus Katsuyori Shibata. Oh my goodness. Yeah, these cards have been absolutely insane these past few weeks as we head to Dynasty, which has a matchup of Will Ospreay versus Bryan Danielson. Yeah, let that sink in. So, yeah, that card looks crazy. Raw looks really good. Same with NXT. No bad matches so far. Going in. Thursday is TNA, and they actually have a really cool match coming up in the Philadelphia tapings. I think it's the 8-4-1 match, I think it is. Or something like that. I remember that stipulation working really well for the men. They're doing it for the women this time. And apparently, I did get a little spoiled. In the 8-4 match, apparently, there's one more name that's supposed to be in this match. And Stephanie DeLander is supposed to be involved in this. Basically, steal the victory, cheat her way into the match, and win and face Jordynne Grace. Apparently a rebellion, which, if that's the case, holy shit. Oh, Matt Cardona returns too, so that should be kind of fun. Spoiler alert for anyone that has not seen the TNA tapings. And yeah, that's really about it for now. with TNA as we head close to Rebellion, which looks really good, by the way. And then, yeah, so there's that. And yeah, so then a quick little sports update for you guys. The USFL is supposed to be starting this week, which is the Rocks Football League, which is the XFL and the USFL combined. Should be fun. Then we have continuous football news, free agency news. Basketball's continuing as we get close to the playoffs. And then this week, I believe it's this week. Yeah, this week is my second favorite sport in all of sports history. Major League Baseball. That's right. Baseball season is back. The Yankees are back. On March 28th, our first opponent is the Astros. Not a favorable opponent because the Astros always kick our ass. But again, we have a brand new team with Juan Soto and the pitching staff, even though we lost Garrett Cole. So we'll see what happens. But I'm very much looking forward to opening day. Definitely going to be watching baseball that day. And yeah, I think that's it. So that's everything for this episode of Wrestling news. Yep, that's it. I'm gonna try to be consistent. Like I said, my goal is to do these every Monday, Tuesday potentially with NXT because NXT's really good. Wednesday for Dynamite, Thursday maybe, but that could be so that'll be our break, and then Friday for SmackDown. That's what I think we're gonna do. I'm gonna be talking to Manny actually pretty soon about this idea, but yeah, thank you for joining me for the first episode of Wrestling News. I'll have to have a different name for it. I'll figure out a name, maybe the Brian and Manny podcast or something. We'll figure it out. But yeah, so that's it for now. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, thank you all. Adios. Bye-bye.